All right, MJ, I'm going to go ahead and put you on the Jumbotron on my side, aka the
Hoping
full
my
screen.
dog will behave during the next 5 minutes.
Hey, go with it. I know you can. Let's see. For everybody that's new, that's been hopping in, there's a couple new people. Just feel free to put comments in the side, how you feel, what you think, what you heard, all that good stuff. I got all the scores ready. All right, MJ, the floor is yours.
The year 2012, the country was still reeling from the Great Recession. Foreclosures were lining the streets, and entire neighborhoods had been gutted by the financial collapse. Banks were just starting to loosen their grip on financial lending, and interest rates had dropped below 3%, so inventory was basically everywhere. For the people who were willing to take a chance, fortunes were absolutely just waiting to be made. Me, however, I didn't know any of that. What I did know was that somehow, against all odds, I had just closed on my first rental property. I was stepping into a world that I really didn't understand. I was armed with nothing but a lot of courage, a lot of blind faith, and the guidance of people who were far more experienced than I was. But I want to go back to the beginning. Like many 20 somethings in Milwaukee, I spent a lot of my time in the bars. One night, I ran into my ex boyfriend, and you could call it fate, maybe bad luck, but there he was, three sheets to the wind, and I was sober enough to count them all. Out of curiosity or politeness, maybe a little bit of both, I asked him, "Hey, how are you doing?" And his face lit up like he'd been waiting for me to say that. "I just bought a duplex," he slurred. And he was teetering slightly back and forth. And, I was kind of impressed, despite myself. And I said, "You know what? That's awesome. And maybe we should talk more about that when you're sober." Surprisingly, we actually did. A few days later, over coffee instead of a beer, he introduced me to his lender, his realtor, and pitched the idea of me buying a duplex like it was a winning lottery ticket. To be honest, I thought it was a terrible idea until he mentioned that his tenant was covering most of his mortgage, which freed up more money for his true passion, craft beer. And in Milwaukee, the beer capital of the world, that argument held a little more weight than I care to admit. But looking back, it was definitely the most profitable conversation I've ever had with somebody in a Pabst Blue Ribbon hoodie. Now, after 13 years of real estate investing, I take what I've learned and I teach it to others. I help them turn unexpected encounters into smart investments. But the idea of passive income wasn't really new to me. I had a bachelor's in business administration from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, so I did understand the basics. Somewhere along the line, I had picked up a copy of Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that book sparked something inside of me. I wanted to take control of my financial future, and I didn't want to keep trading my hours for dollars. I always knew I wanted to be my own boss, partly for the freedom and partly because I don't take direction very well. And I was just thinking about my future. I was thinking about retirement, legacy, giving my future kids more than just the good advice I had collected over the years. So here we are in 2012, and there's no shortage of weird, rundown, and wildly questionable properties. And my realtor and I looked at 17 of them. He had a daughter around my age, and he quickly took the fatherly tone when it came to the deals that we were looking at. His commentary, brutally honest, sometimes hilarious, but always spot on. And he would say things like, "Hey, this one's a great deal, but it's way too much work for a first time investor." Or, "This one's solid, but it's way over your budget. We don't need you to be house poor. That smell that you're smelling, that's cockroach spray. We should keep moving." Ironically, I ended up finding the property while driving down a quiet street. I spotted a for sale sign. I pulled over and I texted him and said, "This is the one. This is it." And before I knew it, I was signing the papers and preparing to step into the world of real estate as a bona fide landlord. Looking back, I don't think I could have made my first purchase without the incredible people that I had in my corner. My lender, my realtor, the mentors who guided me through all of the unknowns that I was facing. And now that's exactly what I do today. My journey into real estate investing didn't just change my financial future, it inspired me to help others to do the same. That's why I founded my brand, Rockstarberst. It's a lifestyle brand where I teach everyday people how to become everyday rock stars. I created the How to Rock Your Real Estate course, a game changer, where I break down the four pillars of real estate investing. I try to make it clear, actionable, and dare I say, actually fun. By the end of the course, you won't just think about buying your first rental, you'll have all the tools that you need to actually do it. And the best part, you're not going to be doing it alone. I'm going to be right there with you every step of the way. So if a tipsy ex-boyfriend can talk me into buying my first rental property, imagine what a sober and strategic plan can do for you. Let's rock this thing together.
Great job. Well done. 5 minutes, 13 seconds.
Good,
All right. You're so likable, so likable. I'm gonna have somebody else go first. The one funny thing is, the first time was a mistake, and then I started chuckling because you like to say 2012 instead of 2012.
Oh
2012.
yeah.
That's gonna be my new joke for you. 2012. And by the way, Marnie's in the comments. She's been in the same industry as us, and she was hopping on and off. You guys need to connect. First off, you guys are very similar, cool people. But she's actually was just telling me last week. She's like, I need to get into. I'm trying to get in real estate. I'm going to a Cardone event or whatever it is, and I'm like, you need to. Anyways, so she's here. I want you guys to connect on social media. But I'll get to your critique in a second. I want Henry to go first.
All right, MJ. Not to give too much away, but great work, phenomenal work. You really had a great presence from the second you got on the camera. From the second that you started your speech, and there was no doubt. It wasn't like I had to go. You're talking to real estate crew, and I got that you were talking to people in real estate, and I was like, I didn't have to go and imagine myself at you doing your speak. I actually felt like I was at a real estate conference. You really made the stage and the environment your own, and your through line for your communication and everything was all real estate. You never, I didn't pick up any fillers. I didn't pick up anything else than that. It was your cadence, your tone was phenomenal, easy to listen to. You had the high points where you carried the conversation. You didn't go too high, and then you didn't go too low when you were talking about the tipsy boyfriend. And I think that was great. Like, you managed the energy and not letting people go too way high up or way too low down. And it was very professional. The end point of how you help people was very easy to pick up. Your story made it very relatable as to how you're effectively, making that happen now. It was a great mirror, and it didn't feel like I had to jump into different time zones. I feel like it was very crafted very well to bring me along on the journey. So great through line, overall great message, REI. Yeah, I loved it. Thoroughly impressed. Great freaking work, MJ. Great work.
Love it. All right. Bye, Ryan and Brenda. Take it easy. Let's see. Brenda, you are up.
All right, MJ, you told the story. You did a great job. I did real estate for many, many years. I made a lot of money at it. So I completely understood everything you were saying. Even though your time was there, your story still felt a little long to me,
Sure.
like drawn out. So, but it was good. I'm not saying that was a bad thing. How I would conquer some of that is maybe put some more pauses in it. I'm not going to say slow down, but maybe add a few pauses.
Okay.
Let people catch up, because
Sure.
your tempo was good, but
Okay.
it felt a little long. But everything else, I think you told the point, you told the story, you told a synopsis of how you were feeling, you set the scene with the ex. That's all I got.
Thanks.
Awesome. Phyllis.
This was the epitome of, like, the perfect speech, how we're taught to do it. And you put every single element that made, and now it's like a full understanding of why it's so important, because the actual speech was, like, to me, perfect. In other words, you just had every element. And then what I watched is how well those elements work together. Besides that, your intonations were great. Talking about the boyfriend, you didn't spit on him too much. You just said, hey, he was kind of drunk. And you said it funny, like everything was very genuine. I felt, one, I'm not into real estate, and now I want to be in it. Like, you literally drew me on. I don't have anything to do with any of that. And it's like, oh, I never even thought of, I want to do that. And it was just, to me, it was just, your inflections were good. You put your stories together. And I felt like I was actually watching a fully together webinar already. And that I was the audience of it. So everything to me just flowed, gelled, and came together. So
Well said.
Great job.